Well, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 28th. This is our evening meditation where we are going to spin into the stillness. I am Reverend Robin Ashok, and I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight or whenever you have decided to click through and listen or view the meditation. We're back to our usual setup this week after last week's autumnal equinox meditation, which I had such a wonderful time doing. And I thank all who participated, who listened, who watched, and hope that you were able to start your fall season the right way, making plans, seeing where you have balance in your life, harvesting the seeds that you planted in spring for the life that you have been desiring to live. And so here we are. We are well into our autumn season. So we like to take a few moments, sometimes more than a few, but for the most part, a few, where we can go into the stillness, where we can invite Spirit to give us some guidance. And when I say Spirit, I do mean invite the voice within, the divinity within all of us that is Spirit and Source, or God, however you choose to think about that higher energy, that greater energy. Believe it or not, that voice exists and lives through us. So I love us to go into that space where we can actually hear that voice speak to us. It's the voice that supersedes all of the ego noise that we may get. It's the one that has always had our backs since the moment we were born in this life, and will always have our backs as we enter back into the flow of the everlasting universe. So it's not too difficult. We set an intention for the evening. We draw a card from the, at least for now, from the beautiful Osho Tarot deck, which I love. And we then take what we have learned about the card and we allow ourselves to go deeply into ourselves to understand the message of the card and how that card may answer the intention that we have stated. So let's state that intention now, shall we? If you'd like, you can take a piece of paper and declare that intention for your meditation. Maybe you are seeking guidance about something. Maybe you have a question about your life that you would like to have answered in the stillness with the voice that is the divine within. However it suits you to ask Spirit, ask the universe, ask your deep self the big questions. Feel free to do that. Now I'm going to write my own intention down, and then I'm going to write also the words everyone's intentions on one of these slips of paper, because when we are finished this evening, because you have held on to that intention, either as a written piece of paper or as an idea that you can maybe imagine in the palm of your hand, that energy of that intention is getting sent my way to this space where we are meeting each other to do this meditation. And again, that is regardless of when or where you are joining us. So we'll take the slip of paper that says everyone's intentions, which will now be, after we're done, imbued with all the energy of everyone participating whenever and wherever they do. And we're going to send that into the flames to manifest and come back to us in the time and the space and the way that it is supposed to. So swing big, swing small, however you want to swing, but let's set an intention for tonight's meditation and state that question, state that guidance that we're seeking. And again, you can imagine a slip of paper in your hand, or you can actually have that slip of paper, but just take a moment to reflect before we get started and ask yourself, ask your divine voice, ask Spirit what you need to know for tonight and beyond. And I will do the same. Fair enough? Done one. To write the words as I do every week. The words as I've done here, everyone's intention. So this is also one that I'm going to have collect energy where from all of you, everyone that is participating this evening, and again, or with the recording whenever you manage to hear or listen. So you can fold yours up, you can hold it in your hand, you can put it in a place where you're going to feel it, receive that energy as we move into our meditation. All right, intention is set. Next, let us draw a card. So again, we use the Osho Zen Tarot deck, which I love. I think it's so beautiful. This is a tarot deck, so it has all of the corresponding suits to the regular traditional tarot deck, interpreted in a Zen Buddhism perspective, from a Zen Buddhism perspective. Really quite lovely. The artwork is gorgeous, and you don't need to know the tarot in order to participate. These cards really function so well independently as a singular message when we draw just one for the week. So I love using them. I love the artwork. And I always remind everyone that now that you've stated your intention or have asked your question for the week, know that whatever card is drawn this evening is the answer to that question, is the guidance that you are seeking. So when the card gets drawn, none of us has the option to say, oh, well, I wonder if that's the answer to the question. I wonder if that's the guidance that I've sought. Our role, our job, once we see that card, is to ask Spirit and ask that voice within how that card answers the question, how that card is our guidance. Now, we may get into meditation and discover that we are not going to leave tonight knowing, but that the effect of the card on our lives and the answering of the question will come in days ahead, maybe even weeks ahead. And when it does, we're going to know it. We're going to know it. We're going to know it. So I shuffle the cards, and then so that we all can agree that we are choosing one that represents everyone, I draw the top one. It's just a simple way to assure that you don't think that I'm reaching into the deck and choosing one that is a result of my own intuition just for me. The card at the top is one that we've agreed after my shuffle, because we're all in separate physical spaces, even though we are here in the same spiritual one. we all agree is the card for us, which will be the top card. So let's do it. Let's shuffle. Let's choose the card. Let's hear about the card, and we will move forward this evening. Here we go. So shuffling again. Maybe it's a shuffle. I realize I've had some negative talk saying I'm not a shuffler. I don't know how to shuffle. That kind of perpetuates that state of being, does it not? So, all right. So I am shuffling the cards. I am a shuffler. I shuffle the cards well. All right. So we're going to choose the top card. Here it comes. All right, so I've got it. So you can see it's here. Just drawing that top card. The card for tonight is... All right. So interesting card as we enter into the fall season. As you can see, I'm going to put it down so you can see it more closely. The card is exhaustion. Exhaustion. So I am sensing that a lot of us need to see this card tonight and need to understand how exhaustion might be impacting us and our moving forward in our lives. So put the card down. And let's all take a look at the card together. There we have it. So we can take a closer look. There's a lot going on in this card. It is a card in the tarot deck of, I believe, fire. So it's the 9 of Wands in the tarot deck, I'm pretty sure. But we see a lot going on. We see somebody who's blindfolded. We see hands clutching. We see kind of like some glowing eyes beyond that card. I sense that this card means that there's a lot happening for us at this time. We just transitioned seasons. And again, the exhaustion card has come up. I'm thinking not necessarily because we feel exhausted now, but we've got a couple of months ahead that could really be drawing on our energies. Again, going to my interpretation, my reading of the card, if I were giving a reading on this card, it would be that this is a time to be very aware of exhaustion, that we're not in it. You don't have to be afraid of it, but just be aware of all the ways that exhaustion can hit us, and probably without knowing it many of the times. So let's see what the book has to say. What the book has to say. So again, this would be a Wands card in the tarot deck, 9 of Wands. Or I like to just work with this card, but it is exhaustion. It's the 9 of Fire, which is the corresponding suit is in this deck. Oh, and I'm looking more closely. He doesn't have a blindfold on, so our main character in this card has very drawn eyes, which from where I am now looks like he's got a headband on, but he's also got very sunken in eyes. So again, we see somebody tired, worn, and has been working very hard. It looks like it's a very industrial card, so there might be a lot of factory kind of the feeling of being part of a bigger machine. Here we go. This is the portrait of one whose life energy has been depleted in his efforts to keep fueling the enormous and ridiculous machine of self-importance and productivity. I'm sensing this is a being versus doing experience. He has been so busy keeping it all together and making sure everything runs smoothly that he has forgotten to really rest. No doubt, he can't allow himself to be playful. To abandon his duty for a trip to the beach could mean the whole structure might come tumbling down. The message of this card is not just about being a workaholic, though is just about being a workaholic, though. It is about all the ways in which we set up safe but unnatural routines for ourselves, and by doing so, keep the chaotic and spontaneous away from our doors. Life's not a business to be managed. It's a mystery to be lived. That one bears repeating. Life's not a business to be managed. It's a mystery to be lived. It's time to tear up the time card, break out of the factory, take a little trip into the uncharted. Your work can flow more smoothly from a relaxed state of mind. I've got chills. A little more about the card. A man who lives through conscience becomes hard. A man who lives through consciousness remains soft. Why? Because a man who has some ideas about how to live naturally becomes hard. He has continuously to carry his character around himself. That character is like an armor. His protection, his security, his whole life is invested in that character. And he always reacts to situations through the character, not directly. If you ask him a question, his answer is ready-made. That's the sign of a hard person. He's dull, stupid, mechanical. He may be a good computer, but he is not person. You do something and he reacts in a well-established way. His reaction is predictable. He is a robot. The real person acts spontaneously. If you ask them a question, your question gets a response, not a reaction. The person opens their heart to your question, exposes themselves to your question, responds to it. So, can we see that in the case of this card, exhaustion means getting so caught up in our rapid daily response to life, getting so wrapped up in the machinery of how we live, getting so robotic in our living, without the rest, without the creativity. Again, this is the fire card. This corresponds to the wands card. This is about that creation, that magic that we have. And that magic exists only in our own reflective spontaneity. Now, there's so many themes that have been mentioned in this reading from the book that I have been working with all week, both personally and also as in producing content. The one that I'm most aligning with for tonight is the difference between reaction and response. To react to something is to give the thing the power. The reaction is a defensive experience, is that little buzz that starts to go off when we're triggered about something. So reaction equals triggering. Response, however, is a a place of awareness, of alignment, of confidence and responsibility to think of things differently. And this is a choice, reaction versus response. Like just about everything that we work with here or anywhere with our spirituality is about making that choice to be different, to act differently than we have. Because what we have been acting as hasn't been working, or else we wouldn't be here. So, as we go into tonight, and as we have a chance to look at the card, to process kind of our visceral reaction to the card, however you have seen it, and see what the voice has to say about our own personal relationship with our roteness with life, with our robotic response to life, with the immediate defensive mechanism or response that we always have chosen because it's what's familiar, because it's helped us to survive. Tonight we elevate reaction to response. Let's do it by meditating. Let's go into the stillness. And again, before we do some housekeeping, please begin to make yourself very comfortable, but in a way where you are energized by your environment and not necessarily exhausted from it. Don't worry about falling asleep or not falling asleep, but just give yourself the opportunity to remain as alert as possible as we meditate this evening. And then if you do nod off, chances are you'll be in that beautiful half between space where you're probably absorbing all of the things that we are addressing in meditation, where you're actually hearing the voice. But if you can get yourself to a place where you are energized as well as relaxed, that will be most helpful. We are all in our own individual homes, so wherever you are, you may hear an ambient noise suddenly happen because I'm here and my home is where my dogs live and where I am living on a busy city street that you can hear everything. You may hear that ambient noise. It might be startling in the moment that you hear it. However, let us remember that we are seeking that stillness wherever we are, in whatever situation we find ourselves. So that could be chaotic. It could be completely pastoral or peaceful or somewhere in between. But the stillness is always within. So don't be too alarmed, but if you do get startled, just think of that as a little cue that you can go back even deeper when you're startled. It's not that hard. Just, allow that start to go through you if you're a little jolted, and then just resume. Just get that breathing back to where you were. Again, my dogs, they seem a little riled up this evening, but who knows? They've been quiet for the last couple of weeks. So let's begin by taking our deep breaths together, eyes open if you can. I just want us to see ourselves kind of fill our bodies with air for the first 2 breaths. And then on the final breath, as we exhale, we're going to let our eyes flutter shut. And then when they're shut, we're going to kind of roll them up a little bit, just a bit, so that they're kind of facing our third eye chakra. That will also help to keep us awake versus falling asleep, because you've got to actually activate those muscles to do that. But if we can wait until the third breath to actually close the eyes, then we will move into that stillness as we do. So let's take that first breath together and just kind of remark, maybe take a look at yourself as your lungs, as your whole body fills with oxygen, inhaling through your nose. And hold for a moment to pause, beautiful, quiet pause. And exhale. Good. Second breath, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Good. One more. Inhale. Hold. And now as you exhale, just allow those eyelids to flutter shut. as we begin to allow our breathing to return to a natural state. Inhaling and exhaling. You don't have to breathe together. It doesn't have to be an unnatural holding of our breath, but just you can return to a natural and comfortable pace, but to make sure that it is full and deep. Breathing in and out. Each breath draws us more and more deeply into ourselves. Each breath makes us more relaxed and more energized. Breathe. 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 We find ourselves entering into this space of personal stillness. Where we are aware, we are mindful of what is happening to us. We are now in a space where we can release the sensation of our physical bodies for a bit. And so in this stillness, as we have breathed ourselves to a space of relaxation and comfort and safety, we imagine our physical body just slowly dissolving into the air, but remaining as a space where we've been. It's held by our deep and intentional breath as we inhale and exhale. But in our mind's eye, we imagine the body just dissolving. It's almost like we put an invisibility cloak on. If you've watched Invisible Man or Harry Potter's invisibility cloak, just imagine that space where we are laying. And this invisibility, this release of our body, feels very, very energizing because we no longer feel in this space right now the sensation of the exhaustion of our physical selves, which we may often feel in an evening just after dusk. So let us just be aware of the energizing feeling of being a presence, of being an essence. The body has disappeared. So have our aches and pains. Or our mental stresses or anxieties. No, in this space, we feel so pure. We feel like us. Let's just pay attention to how that feels to be free of the limitations that our physical bodies have in our human life. Feel that freedom. Feel that freedom. It's exhilarating. We feel ageless. We feel free from the pain of our human living. Instead, we feel a sense of aliveness. Of awakeness. Of uniqueness. We feel like a ball of magical energy, a creative force of vision. Those visions are in our mind's eye. It feels kind of like our material sight, but it's beyond that sight. The exhilaration of this beautiful experience of our essence. And let us also imagine that in this beautiful and confident and safe, energized space of our presence, we sense the presence of those of us that have joined in this meditative experience. That means whenever you're joining this meditation, let's try to feel and experience the essences of all who are here simultaneously, or may have come before or after us. Let us just really open ourselves to feeling their presences of this meditation, the ones who have intended to experience this meditation. Absorb that feeling of beauty and preciousness, of uniqueness of each presence, but the gloriousness of all being of that same single source energy. You really can grasp the non-binary experience of being both unique as well as part of a collective, differentiated yet united. We're energized, and just for a brief moment, while we are feeling so safe, I'm going to invite everyone, just for a few seconds, to just think about something in our day, either that might be coming up or something that happened to us today, something that might have gotten our goat a little bit, made us bristle, made us clutch our pearls, made us react. Don't give it too much energy. Just think of that situation that we reacted to. It didn't have to be a blow up. It just had to be a reaction inside us. And if we can, be gentle with ourselves as we think of our desire to react or our reaction. And let's bring that reaction to this space where we feel so safe, so immune to anything that anyone could say or any situation that might come up that would annoy us or anger us or upset us. Let's bring it to this space and let's look at it ever so gently with a new vision. The vision of this presence. Which allows us to envision a response instead of a reaction. Responding instead of reacting is a choice. And in this space, this magical space that is as real as our material life, we can imagine us responding to this situation, this experience that we had today or might be anticipating tomorrow. Let's imagine us in that same situation or experience responding in a constructive way, in a way that holds love and respect for the person that might be involved or for the situation that might be involved. And let us embrace the empowerment, the unfolding of ourselves that happens when we respond. Which actually might be a surprise. The response is again invigorating. Takes us out of managing our ego-driven self and opens us up to the spontaneity, the openness of that voice, that deep self within. Let us fully in our mind's eye express that response. And even if it is the smallest gesture in your own mind, even if it doesn't feel like a significant response, but still is one that is not a reaction, is a proactive response, that's the win for you for today. That's what we are reflecting on. The small victories can become larger victories when we begin to apply them more and more in our lives. Let us embrace that feeling. The openness, the forgiveness, the creative process that comes out of being open to us responding. Because it means we might do something, choose differently, which we know is the only way. To move to the place that we've desired to be, we have to choose differently. It's not a bad thing. It's just a truth. If we want to be someplace different, we have to choose another way of moving, or choose to move at all. So let us absorb our response and let us realize that we are not exhausted from this experience. We are not exhausted from spontaneity. As a matter of fact, we are energized. We are inspired. Our mind is racing with ideas, with solutions, with beauty, with art and music. All of it is an expression of that spontaneity. And let us remember that this is that feeling that we must draw on as we move through our material day. We released our physical selves to enter into this etheric space where we can have the recall from this space whenever we want. And with that in mind, feeling empowered and feeling safe and feeling open to the possibilities and opportunities of our life and our world, let us return to our physical bodies very slowly. Let's be gentle on ourselves. Let's imagine ourselves rediscovering the breath that has been there all along. Inhaling and exhaling deeply. When we realize that we have the breath, that makes us aware of our lungs, and so we can sense the invisible body of ours moving back into the visible, into the material, slowly, slowly filling in that space, our shape, dissolving back into that position that we have felt invigorated as well as relaxed. Our body just reappears and is relaxed and beautifully does not have any of the pains or anxieties that we left behind. Instead, is refreshed and renewed and empowered. Let us return completely by taking our 3 breaths. We're going to exhale with our eyes closed on the first 2. And then as we exhale nice and deeply on the last one, we will open our eyes together. So inhale and exhale quickly. Inhale again and exhale quickly. And one more breath. Inhale and exhale quickly. And we are back on the journey into ourselves, where I'm hoping that feel anything but exhaustion. Instead, feel exhilaration and excitement and expectancy of all of the goodness that we are going to create with that imagination from the deep self, from that deep voice, not exhaustion. So reaction, exhausting. Response, invigorating. There's the difference. That's the message for the week. So excited. This is one that I always need to hear over and over and over again. And Spirit has given me the opportunity to not only hear it for myself, but to share it with you as well. So it's that time. Let's send them off. Let's send those intentions out in the way we have intended. I'm going to start with mine first. You'll see it go up in flames. We did draw the card of the suit of fire, the suit of wands, which is the fire suit as well in the tarot deck. So there it goes, there it goes. On its way out and up. And now this one, so you can see, is everyone's intentions. Away we go. Everyone's intentions. Bye-bye. So powerful. Again, if we were all together, we would do this together, but it's just a powerful image to watch our intentions get sent back into the universe, into the air, where we're all in the cycle of coming and going from. So very exciting. Let's see who's here. If you are here, give me a wave. Make sure you've said something in the comments if you have joined us either on YouTube or on Facebook Live. So we'll go there first. Let's check out YouTube. See who's on YouTube. There is Kathleen. There's Sue. I saw Ria earlier. Thank you for being here, guys. Thanks for joining and for saying, hey, hope you had fun. Hope you took the journey. Hope you are reacting. I'm sorry, hope you are not reacting. Hope you are there responding in every way that you can. Very excited. Let's check out Facebook, see who's there. Take it and go wide here. I'm not sure if any of those are here, but if you are, please say hello. Let me know. I can always catch all of those comments afterwards. And you can watch this at any time, hoping you get a chance to watch it again. And that's about all for tonight. Glad that you were here. Back in the groove. We're in the fall season and enjoy it. Here in Washington, D.C., it's a beautiful, crisp fall evening, the perfect fall evening, just the kind of night I love to leave the windows open and get some of that fresh autumn air. So be well. Love you all. I'm so grateful you joined. Again, get involved. Send a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's anything you want to explore as we move through these meditations through the year, we're here for the dialogue. Like and subscribe. Please don't forget. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, like our Spiritual Spinster Facebook page, like the video, comment, engage. It's all about the engagement. All right, enough said. Love you. Good night.